On our wedding night, my husband went to be with another woman, and his reason was that he lost a game. Before the story begins, thank you for clicking into it. This is the tale of a woman who was betrayed, awakened, and reborn. Promise me, read until the very end, because at the end of this story, I've left a gift just for you. On our wedding night, my husband Michael spent the entire night playing video games with his friends. It wasn't until the next morning that I found out Michael had lost a game, and the punishment was to spend his wedding night with his girl bro Chloe. I confronted him in disbelief, but he only wrapped an arm around Chloe and laughed. It was just a game, he said, and nothing happened between us. I stared at his hand resting so casually around Chloe's shoulders, my knuckles turning white. You didn't come to our room on our wedding night, but you stayed with her. That's what you call nothing happened? Chloe spoke before Michael could answer. Her sugary smile made my skin crawl. Don't be so tense, Ava. Michael and I have been gaming together since we were kids. We've done punishments like this before. You just married in, you wouldn't understand. Yeah, Michael chimed in, annoyance creeping into his tone. It's not like it hurt you. Why are you making such a big deal? If you could play games with us, you wouldn't feel so weird about it. Their casual condescension left me speechless. I was the one being disrespected, yet they spoke to me like I was a child throwing a tantrum. I took a breath, steadying myself. Michael, we're husband and wife, not teammates. If you plan to keep this kind of relationship, then don't blame me for not playing along anymore. Michael frowned. For the first time, he looked genuinely displeased. What's that supposed to mean? First day of marriage and you're already giving me attitude? I opened my mouth to respond, but the living room door swung open. Michael's mom stood there, her gaze already full of bias. What's going on here, Ava? You married into our family, so learn the rules. Michael and Chloe's bond is older than your marriage. Don't make a fuss over nothing. At that moment, I felt completely cornered, surrounded and entirely alone. But just as Michael's mom prepared to continue scolding me, I lifted my head. I'm not here to be your family's punching bag. For a second, she froze. Even Michael was stunned. It was the first time they'd seen me push back. After that day, Michael started deliberately avoiding me. At breakfast, he and Chloe sat together laughing loudly about last night's game updates, practically glowing with excitement. I sat beside them like I was invisible. I tried to speak up. Michael, can we talk? He didn't even lift his head. Not now. Chloe sipped her drink through a straw, giving me a meaningful look. Ava, don't pressure Michael. He hates feeling restricted. I held in my anger. I just want some clarity about the boundaries in our marriage. That finally made Michael look up, but not to respond. Instead, he frowned. Can you not bring this up while I'm gaming? It's seriously annoying. That second, it felt like something heavy crushed my chest. I wasn't saving the marriage. I was humiliating myself. Michael's mom carried a bowl of soup out of the kitchen, glancing at me with disapproval. You're bothering Michael. Do you think your days will get any easier if you keep doing that? Her words shoved me back into the dirt. For 3 full days, Michael barely said a complete sentence to me. He didn't touch me, didn't look at me, barely responded to my messages. But Chloe, she made sure to hover around me constantly, smiling sweetly while twisting the knife. Bet you couldn't sleep alone last night. Michael prefers gaming with me now. He's more stressed after getting married. I didn't answer, but inside, a string was being pulled tighter and tighter. At first, I thought Michael was just mad, but slowly, painfully, I understood one thing. To them, I wasn't family. I was an outsider, even a joke. Then came that night. Michael was gaming in the living room until past midnight. Chloe was practically draped over his shoulder, her laughter soft and intimate in the dim light. Standing at the top of the stairs, watching that scene, I realized I'd tolerated enough. I stood at the top of the stairs, watching Chloe practically hang on Michael. He didn't push her away, in fact, his hand even slid naturally to steady her waist. In that moment, whatever patience I had left snapped. I walked down the stairs slowly, each step landing on a heart that felt like it was cracking apart. Michael. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the room like glass. Michael turned, saw me standing there, and instantly looked annoyed. "What now?" Chloe released him and stood up, wearing that fake innocent expression. "Ava, don't misunderstand. I was just a bit tired and used Michael's shoulder for a second." "Drop the act," I said, staring straight at her. "You're leaning on my husband and expect me to thank you for your generosity?" Chloe froze, clearly not expecting me to bite back. Michael's expression turned cold. "Can you stop being unreasonable? Chloe's my friend. You've known that from the start." I inhaled deeply, keeping my voice steady. Friends don't spend someone's wedding night together. They don't lean into each other like that. They don't laugh together while the spouse gets ignored. Chloe immediately jumped in. "You're making something out of nothing. We didn't do anything." "Then stay away from him," I said. Her smile finally cracked. "You don't have the right to tell me." "I do." I cut her off. "Because I'm his wife." Michael suddenly stood, anger flaring. "This is embarrassing. You're acting like some victim when nothing happened." I looked right at him. "You're the one who made me into a victim." Silence dropped like ice. Michael stared at me for a few seconds, then threw up his hands. "I'm not arguing with you. Think whatever you want." He stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door. The living room was left with only me and Chloe. Chloe walked closer, her voice laced with a smug sweetness. "Ava, with this much insecurity, Michael is going to get sick of you." I met her eyes without blinking. "Before he gets sick of me, I'll make sure he finally understands exactly who he shouldn't mess with." She actually froze for a moment, not expecting me to sound so certain. My fingers were trembling slightly as I walked back upstairs, but my resolve wasn't. I thought the confrontation last night would at least force Chloe to keep some distance. I was wrong. The next morning, when I walked downstairs, I saw Michael's mom sitting on the couch with Chloe curled up in her arms, crying like her heart was breaking. The moment Michael's mom saw me, her face darkened. "Ava, how could you lay hands on Chloe?" I froze. "I didn't touch her." Chloe sniffled, voice trembling with just the right amount of weakness. "Auntie, I'm not trying to cause trouble. Last night Ava suddenly yelled at me, accused me of seducing Michael, and told me to get out of the house. I really don't know what I did wrong." Michael's mom patted her back, glaring at me like I was dirt. "You did nothing wrong. She's just petty." I actually laughed in disbelief. "When did I tell her to get out?" "I only told her to stay away from Michael." "Isn't that the same thing?" Michael's mom scolded me like I was a misbehaving child. Chloe lifted her head, eyes shining with perfectly timed tears. "Ava, I treat you like a sister. If you don't like me, I can come less often, just don't yell at me again." I took a deep breath. "I didn't yell at you. You crossed a line." "What line?" Michael's mom shot back immediately. "Ava, don't forget, Chloe grew up with Michael. You're the outsider here. You come into this family and want to dictate rules? Who do you think you are?" "Outsider." The word hit like a blade. I forced out, "I'm Michael's wife." "So what if you are?" Michael's mom sneered. "This family doesn't determine closeness based on a marriage certificate." Chloe added softly, "Auntie, I'm really not trying to ruin their marriage. I just worry Michael is stressed. And Ava, she keeps fighting with him." "Oh, so now I was the source of stress." Footsteps came from the stairs. Michael finally walked down, sleepy and sluggish. His mother immediately jumped in. "Michael, your wife bullied Chloe again." Michael took one look at Chloe, then glanced at me, and his expression tightened with irritation. "Ava, can you stop causing drama? Every day it's chaos because of you." "I'm exhausted." One sentence, and the blame landed squarely on me. Pain tore across my chest. I opened my mouth, but no words came out because I finally understood nothing I said mattered in this house. Michael didn't believe me. His mom protected Chloe, not me. To them, I was just the problem ruining their peace. Chloe delivered the final blow, her voice timid and false. "Ava, maybe I should stop coming for a while. I don't want you to think I'm trying to take Michael from you." Her expression said only one thing: "I've won." I lifted my head and looked at the three people so sure they were right. For the first time, I felt no sadness, no urge to cry, Only a cold, terrifyingly clear thought, I will not let them control me anymore. Their eyes, 3 pairs, felt like knives pressing into me. Suddenly, the air in the living room felt suffocating. I didn't say another word. I simply turned and walked upstairs. Behind me, I heard Michael's mom scoff loudly, such a temper. Just like her mother, always running away instead of facing problems. Chloe jumped in immediately, her voice soft and understanding. Auntie, don't talk about Ava's mom. Ava must already feel horrible. Michael stayed silent for a second, but he didn't call out to me, didn't stop them, didn't follow. That feeling, being completely abandoned, cut deeper than any argument. Upstairs, I dragged my suitcase out of the closet. I moved quietly, efficiently, fold clothes, pack skincare, pack toiletries. When I zipped the suitcase, an unexpected lightness washed over me. Not joy, but the relief of finally ending a long, suffocating pressure. I rolled my suitcase downstairs. Michael's mom crossed her arms the moment she saw me. So now you're going to run away? How childish. My tone was calm, almost gentle. I'm not running away. I need space. When I'm calm, we can talk. Michael finally looked up at me, and his reaction shattered the last soft place in my heart. His first words weren't stay. Not even where are you going? Instead, you packed that much? Planning not to come back? I laughed under my breath. Do you even want me to come back? He froze, and didn't answer. Chloe stood beside him, her lips twitching upward like she couldn't hide her satisfaction. Ava, don't overthink it. Shut up. I said it without looking at her. Her face went pale instantly. I dragged my suitcase toward the door without another word. Behind me, Michael's mom shouted, if you walk out that door, don't expect Michael to chase after you. Then Michael's voice followed. Tired and frustrated, just let her go. My hand tightened on the doorknob, fingers turning white. But I didn't stop. The door closed behind me with a soft click, and it felt like a heavy chain snapping apart. Cold wind hit my face. I breathed deep for the first time in months. I wasn't running away. For the first time, I was walking toward my own life. I stood on the street for a long time before finally finding a small temporary rental apartment. It wasn't big, a bed, a table, a tiny kitchenette. The paint on the wall was peeling a little, and the window frame was old. But it was quiet, simple, and, most importantly, had no mother-in-law's scolding, no Chloe's mockery, no Michael's cold voice. I set down my suitcase, and suddenly my body felt hollow, like it had been running on fumes for too long and finally stopped. My phone buzzed nonstop. I thought maybe Michael had noticed I was gone, but when I unlocked it, delivery ads, bank notifications, spam, not a single message from that house. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Night fell. I turned on the only lamp in the room. The warm yellow light made the place feel both empty and strangely peaceful. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the neon outside my window, and for the first time, loneliness hit me. No family warmth, no husband's care, no place to belong. I picked up my phone. For a moment, I hovered over Michael's name. I wanted to ask, do you even want me to come back? Just one word from him, any sign that he cared, might have kept me from leaving completely. But my finger hovered above the screen for a long time, and then I put the phone down. If he cared, he would have stopped me when I walked out that door. I took a deep breath, letting the air fill my lungs. You've left the place that suffocated you. You're free now, but freedom often comes wrapped in loneliness. As I stared at the ceiling, Michael's mom's words replayed in my head, you have no right. You're an outsider. You're bothering Michael. Funny. I remembered all of it. My nose stunned for a moment, but then I laughed softly. If they don't value me, then I'll value myself. I unzipped my suitcase and began folding my clothes into the tiny closet. And at that moment, a thought emerged, quiet but clear. I'm not going back. At least not as someone they can step on. Under the lamp, my shadow on the wall looked steadier than I felt. Late that night, the apartment was silent. I leaned against the headboard, the room dim except for the glow of my phone screen. I thought the night would pass quietly, but around 1 a.m., the phone lit up. Michael calling. My heart tightened for a second, but I still answered. Hello? I kept my voice steady. On the other end, I heard keyboard clicks, gaming noises, the echo of a headset mic. Then Michael's impatient tone, "Where are you?" I frowned. "Why should I tell you?" He paused, then spoke even colder, "Ava, stop acting out. The house is calmer now that you're gone, like we finally got rid of a burden. If you need space, fine. Just don't disappear." I froze. "A burden? My mom's got a headache because of you," he continued irritably. "And Chloe, she was being nice. And you blew up at her. Why are you being so unreasonable lately?" My grip tightened around the phone. "Michael, did you call just to say all this?" "Of course not," he muttered. "I'm telling you not to stay out just to be dramatic. Everyone thinks I married a kid now. Just come home so we can talk. You hear me? Hear me. Not please. Not are you okay? Just a command." I typed slowly, then said it out loud. "So you didn't call because you care if I'm safe. You called because you're worried about how you look." Silence. Then Michael scoffed. "You're overthinking. I'm telling you not to embarrass our whole family." I laughed, a small, bitter sound. "Michael, I didn't leave out of spite. I left because I'm tired." "What?" he snapped. "I'm tired of being treated like an outsider. Tired of Chloe. Tired of you never standing by me. You think I'm emotional?" "No, Michael. I was obedient. Too obedient." On the other end, he suddenly went quiet. After a long moment, "Ava, calm down." "I am calm." I cut him off. So calm that every word you say feels disgusting. That finally pushed him over. "Ava, don't push it. If you don't come home," I hung up. The dial tone echoed for a moment, but my heart felt strangely light. No heartbreak, no tears, just the relief of finally seeing him clearly. In the dark, I let out a quiet breath. "Thank you, Michael. You helped me realize it's time to move forward." After hanging up, I tossed my phone onto the bed. The room fell silent again, but this time, the silence didn't feel terrifying. It felt breathable. I sat up slowly, and a question surfaced in my mind. Besides Michael, what else is in my life? A few seconds passed, and I realized I couldn't answer it. The realization hurt more than anything Michael had ever said. I took a long breath and opened my suitcase again. At the bottom was a folder I hadn't touched in years, my old self. Inside were my portfolio, certificates, college design practice pieces, traces of the woman I used to be, the one with ambition, talent, and a life beyond marriage. My fingers trembled as I flipped through them. I wasn't empty. I wasn't incapable. I'd just been pushed down long enough to forget who I was. Right then, I made a decision. Not impulsive, but something deep inside finally choosing the direction. I'm going to rebuild my life. The next morning, I woke early. No one yelling. No cold shoulders. No fake sweetness in my ear. Sunlight poured through the window, warm and gentle. For once, I felt it. I got dressed. Stood in front of the mirror. The woman looking back at me still looked a little tired. But for the first time in a long time, there was sharpness in her gaze. "From today on," I whispered to my reflection, "you don't lower your head for anyone." Then I opened my laptop and did something Michael would never have expected. I started applying for jobs. Before marrying him, I studied design and even did some freelance work. After marriage, his mom kept saying, "Women don't need to work," and I let myself believe it. But all that experience, it didn't disappear. I reorganized my portfolio, updated my resume, filtered job postings. As my fingers tapped across the keyboard, it felt like something inside me finally woke up. It didn't take long. My inbox chimed. A company invited me for an interview. I stared at the message, stunned for a second. My heartbeat sped up. It felt unreal. Someone wanted me, not as a wife, not as a daughter-in-law, but for my skill. A smile spread across my face, small, bright, completely genuine. Then I scrolled past Michael's contact, moving his chat window all the way to the bottom. Whether he had messaged or called again, I didn't care enough to look. That was the old me. The woman sitting here now had only one priority, getting herself back. I spent the rest of the morning polishing my portfolio and rewriting project descriptions. Time flew without me noticing. By the time I finally looked up, the entire room was filled with soft daylight. Just as I was about to close my laptop and rest for a bit, my phone buzzed. A few new messages. Not from the company, but from Michael. "What are you doing? I heard you're looking for a job. Are you doing this on purpose so we'll fight?" I stared at the screen, dumbfounded, then laughed out loud. So Chloe told him. Of course she did. She never misses a chance to stir the pot. Before I could even type, Michael called. I didn't pick up. 10 seconds later, he called again. Still didn't pick up. On the third try, I hit decline and tossed my phone on the bed. A moment later, the texts started flooding in. "Ava, are you serious right now? Pick up the phone. Are you crazy? Married women don't need to work. Come home. Immediately. Why are you acting like this?" Every message screamed one thing: he didn't see me as a partner, just an accessory that wasn't obeying. I picked up my phone and typed, "I'm job hunting. That's my decision. You don't get to control it." He replied almost instantly, "Don't be stupid. My mom said if you go out working, we'll look ridiculous. Both families lose face. Just come home so we can talk like adults." Now, I stared at the phrase, "lose face, not your career matters." Not "I'm proud of you." Just face. Just reputation. Just control. I typed again. Slowly and clearly, "I'm not going back. And I won't sacrifice my life for your family's image." Then I removed him from my pinned chats and turned on Do Not Disturb. It felt liberating, like a layer of fog lifting from my chest. He messaged again immediately, "Ava, if you dare take a job, then we're officially done." I stared at those words. Then a smile tugged at the corner of my lips. Soft, calm, final. Then we're done. The moment I hit send, I swear I could almost hear a door opening inside me. The world outside finally felt possible. Michael stared at his phone screen, frozen. "Then we're done." My short message hit him harder than anything I'd ever said. His face darkened instantly. "She's lost her mind," he muttered, veins tightening along his neck, but beneath the anger, something else flickered: fear. Chloe was sitting beside him, gaming as usual. When she saw his expression, she leaned closer. "What happened? Is Ava causing trouble again?" Michael slammed the phone down. "She's actually looking for a job." Chloe blinked. "Okay. But isn't that normal? You don't get it." Michael snapped. "If she starts working, she'll meet people, get her own money, her own social circle, and if she decides to leave me, my mom will kill me. Do you understand?" Chloe stiffened. That was the first time she realized Michael wasn't worried about me being emotional. He was worried about losing control. She swallowed. "So, you're scared she'll leave you?" Michael shot her a glare. "No, I'm not scared of her leaving. I'm just saying, if she walks out for good, it's a huge hassle finding another wife." The words punched straight into Chloe's chest. Jealousy flared, hot, raw, immediate. She forced a smile. "So, what are you going to do?" "I need her to come back," Michael muttered, rubbing his temples. "I need to talk to her before she actually makes this a big deal." Chloe narrowed her eyes. "You want to go get her? Right now?" "Of course I do." Michael stood suddenly. "This isn't like her usual tantrums. She's ignoring me. She hung up on me. Ava's never done that before." Chloe's hands tightened around her gaming controller. Her voice trembled. "Michael, are you nervous about her?" Michael hesitated. Then he exhaled sharply. "I don't know. But if she really starts living her own life, she might not need me anymore." Chloe's face collapsed. Because she finally understood. The moment I stopped chasing Michael, he started panicking. She whispered, "So, you're going after her? For real? This is my marriage." Michael snapped. "Don't meddle." He didn't finish, because Chloe suddenly reached out and grabbed his sleeve. Her voice cracked. "Michael, I don't want her to take you away. You're mine." Michael froze. "What did you just say?" Chloe looked down, panicked by her own confession, but it was too late to take it back. I don't want you to change because of her." Michael stared at her, stunned. For the first time, something dawned on him, the girl buddy he'd always treated as harmless. Might not be harmless at all. 10 p.m. The hotel room was quiet. I had just finished showering and was about to go over some documents when my phone buzzed unexpectedly. A message from an unknown number. You think getting a job means you can leave Michael? Dream on. I stared at the words. Before I could reply, another message came through. Don't forget, you have nothing. One word from him, and you're back in his orbit. The tone, the style, it was all too familiar. I immediately knew who it was, Chloe. I didn't reply right away. I just casually placed my phone on the table and continued drying my hair. 5 minutes later, the messages popped up again. Stop pretending. I know you're reading this. You can't leave Michael. Your position exists only because of me. I let out a soft laugh. She had clearly spiraled to this extent. I picked up my phone and typed a line. Are you afraid I'll leave? It hit a nerve. 3 messages came instantly. Afraid? Get your facts straight. Michael is only tied to you. I'm the one he truly needs. She was completely unhinged. I leaned against the window, typing slowly. Why are you telling me all this? Chloe paused for a full minute. It felt like she was weighing her words, or maybe gritting her teeth. Finally, she replied, because I don't want you to come back. The tension in me, stretched so tight it was about to snap, finally released completely. I sent one last message. Don't worry. I have no intention of going back. Silence followed for a long while. Then, suddenly, one more message popped up. You can't leave. I stared at the words with only one emotion in my eyes, sarcasm. I thought she was afraid I'd make a scene. Afraid I'd try to take Michael. Afraid I'd expose them. But now I understood, she wasn't afraid of me staying. She was afraid I'd truly let go of Michael. I calmly typed my final line. The more desperate you are, the clearer it becomes. Michael isn't what you want. He's what you can't take. Delivered. After that, she never replied again. I looked at the dim city lights and exhaled deeply. At that moment, I finally understood. I was already walking away from them, and I was walking steadily. 1 a.m. Michael was sprawled on the couch playing a game, his headset hanging to the side, looking both irritated and distracted. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. Who is it? He mumbled, getting up to open it. The door swung open. Chloe stood there, her eyes red as if smoked, her makeup smeared into a mess. She looked like she was about to explode. Michael, she's leaving. Her voice was choked with tears, and she lunged straight into his arms. Michael froze, forgetting even to hug her back. What are you doing? Why are you freaking out in the middle of the night? Chloe clutched his shirt tightly. Ava, she said she's never coming back. Do you know what she just said to me? Michael frowned. You went to see her again? His tone was impatient. Chloe's heart tightened, but her emotions were unstoppable. I'm just afraid she'll come back and take you. You keep saying you're not afraid of her leaving, but all your attention is on her right now. Her voice rose suddenly, torn and raw. Michael froze. When did I ever say all my attention was on her? You just did. All the time. Even when you're playing games. You're checking your phone. Chloe lost control completely, ripping through a layer of herself she'd never wanted to face. Michael's scalp tingled. I'm checking my phone because she's my wife. I need to make sure she's safe. Got it? Chloe felt like she'd been struck by lightning, tears spilling immediately. You care about her that much? Michael raised his voice. At least I'm responsible. We just got married. Can you stop interfering in my relationship with her? The word stop interfering hit Chloe like a hammer. She froze, her eyes showing the first crack of panic and hurt. Michael, do you think I'm unnecessary? Her voice was hoarse, like sandpaper scraping. Michael rubbed his temples. You're not unnecessary. You crossed a line. If Ava knew about all this mess you're causing, you're defending her again. Chloe interrupted sharply. Michael took a deep breath, his face cold. Chloe, we're just friends. Don't make this complicated. It was like a slap. Chloe's face went ghostly pale. Friends? You're calling us friends now? Her voice shook. Then what do all these years of everything I've done for you mean? Michael was frustrated. You did what you wanted to do. I never asked you to smack. Chloe shoved him violently, her gaze shattered. You'll regret this, she gritted her teeth. speaking each word slowly. When you realize she doesn't want you anymore, you'll know what you've lost. Then she spun around and ran out, the door slamming so hard it sounded like the whole building cracked. The room fell into a deadly silence. Michael stood there, chest tight, frustration, anger, and a little bit of undefinable panic. The death sounds of the game in his headset continued to ping, but he couldn't curse, because suddenly he realized Chloe's outburst wasn't just emotion. It was a confession, a loss of control, a warning. Worse, for the first time, he felt that things were slipping far beyond his control. The door slammed shut, leaving the apartment eerily quiet. Michael sank onto the couch, but he couldn't sit still. He grabbed his phone and glanced again at my conversation with Chloe. No mention of me. No messages from me. No hint that she still cares about me. A wave of panic hit him. He took a deep breath and pressed the dial button to call me. Beep. Beep. The screen lit up a few times, and my name flashed there. He stared at that familiar contact, and the more he looked, the tighter his throat felt. By the sixth ring, it suddenly stopped. I had hung up. Michael shot upright, like he'd been pricked by a needle. She hung up on me? He had never experienced this before. Every time we argued before, even if my eyes were swollen from crying, I would still pick up. I'd explain, soften, apologize. But now, I didn't react at all. Immediately, he tried again. This time, not even 2 rings, it went straight to rejected. Michael's hand froze around the phone. He wanted to chalk it up to she's just being moody, but a voice in his head grew louder, clearer. She's not moody. She really doesn't want to pick up. Suddenly, he felt as if a stone had dropped onto his chest. He stood up and paced the living room, like a trapped, frightened animal. What is she thinking? Where is she going? Is she really leaving me? His voice trembled slightly on the word leaving. It was the first time he realized I wasn't someone he could just hold on to at will. He called a third time. This time, not even a ring. The phone immediately displayed a cold, blunt message. The recipient has enabled message blocking. Michael froze. He stared at the screen in disbelief, eyes widening for a moment. Blocked? Blocked? She blocked me? He muttered repeatedly, as if trying to convince himself this couldn't possibly happen. In his mind, Ava's departing silhouette suddenly appeared, and the more he thought about it, the more it looked like real determination. For the first time, he felt his stomach drop, a suffocating heaviness. It's over. He finally sank onto the couch, utterly numb. Even he didn't realize it. This was the first time he had said over and meant it so completely. The next morning, sunlight fell softly across the hotel windowsill as I woke up. My phone lay quietly beside the pillow. No missed calls. No messages. Because I had blocked Michael's number. I washed up and packed my things, moving with a lightness that almost felt unfamiliar, like I had shed 10 kilos of weight in an instant. Just as I was about to leave, my phone dinged. I thought it was another spam message, but when I opened it, I froze. Congratulations, you've passed the initial review. We'd like to invite you to participate in the trial session this afternoon. A small note followed. Your expression over the phone left a strong impression on us. We look forward to seeing your talent. I stared at the words, and my chest felt both tight and warm. Someone was speaking to me this way, not criticizing, not judging, not commanding, expecting. I couldn't help but laugh softly, a quiet, sharp laugh that felt intensely real. At that moment, there was a knock at the hotel room door. Hello. Here's your breakfast order. I opened the door and watched the staff place a neatly arranged breakfast inside. In that instant, I felt it clearly. I was living a life that was entirely my own. No need to watch anyone's expressions. No need to explain myself to anyone. No need to search for a corner where I belonged. I sat at the small table, taking a careful bite of breakfast, and for the first time in a long while, a sense of power rose inside me. I wasn't being pushed out. I was walking out on my own. Halfway through, my phone buzzed again. I assumed it was a follow-up from the interview, but looking down, it was a message from an unknown number. Are you Ava? We have someone interested in inviting you to a collaboration. I frowned. Collaboration? Before I could think further, Another message arrived. It's for a short urban lifestyle interview program. Someone recommended you to participate. I froze. Someone recommended me? Who? Within seconds. Another message clarified. They said you're genuine and have a story. I looked up at the light streaming through the window, and for a moment, my heart skipped a beat. The outside world seemed far wider than I had imagined, and I seemed to be walking toward it. Michael hadn't slept all night. His phone grew hot in his hand, yet no new notifications came through. He couldn't take it anymore and started asking around about my whereabouts, neighbors, security, my former colleagues, even convenience stores near the hotel. But everyone gave the same answer: she seems really happy. When Michael heard that, his entire face froze. It was a kind of desolation sharper than anger. She's living well, and I have nothing to do with it. He finally called one of my old friends, someone he had always looked down on, but I trusted completely. The moment the call connected, the first words were ice cold. Why are you looking for her? She's finally at peace now. Michael gritted his teeth. She's my wife. Of course your wife. The friend chuckled, but there was no warmth at all. The last thing she wants to hear right now are those two words. Michael was stunned. What do you mean? Michael, when she left that day, she left us a message. Michael held his breath. What did she say? There was a 2-second pause on the other end. Then a soft yet sharp sentence came through. She said, I've decided not to look back. Michael's ears rang, as if a heavy hammer had struck his chest. His lips trembled, barely able to form words. She really said that? The friend's voice remained cold. Don't worry. This time, she means it. Click. The call ended. Michael's hand loosened, and the phone dropped to the floor with a sharp clink. He crouched down, covering his face, his shoulders trembling slightly. For the first time, he truly understood. She wasn't angry. She genuinely didn't want him anymore. And at that very moment of his breakdown, I was sitting on the subway, reviewing my interview materials, my gaze calm and focused. No looking back, no hesitation, not a trace of emotion for him, because I knew my life was moving toward a brighter direction. At 3 p.m., I arrived at the company right on time. The receptionist froze for a moment when she saw me, then gave a polite smile. Miss Ava, the interview panel is waiting for you in the conference room. I nodded, my palms slightly sweaty, yet my heart strangely calm. 3 interviewers sat in the conference room. The one in the middle was the manager whose voice I had heard over the phone. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. You're here. I bowed slightly and took a seat. The manager got straight to the point. We had a great first impression of you, but today we want to see your initiative. She gestured to the computer beside her. We'd like you to create a short 5-minute plan on the spot. I paused for a second, but I wasn't afraid. On the contrary, a long-missed sense of being expected surged through me. I took a deep breath and clicked start. The moment my fingers hit the keyboard, it felt like a light switched on in my mind. All those days of being dismissed at home, Michael's coldness, Chloe's humiliation, Michael's mom's criticism. It all became fuel to push me forward. I typed quickly but steadily. Every point reflected my experiences and insights, expressed in the most genuine, everyday language. When the 5 minutes were up, I hit submit. The room was silent for 3 seconds. The manager spoke first, a hint of surprise in her voice. You have a lot of potential. Another interviewer nodded. And your delivery is so authentic, not forced at all. Very compelling. I felt flattered. Thank you. I'll keep doing my best. The manager smiled softly. No, you're already doing it. Then she looked at me, her tone suddenly formal. Ava, we've decided to hire you. I froze. The manager stood and extended her hand. Welcome aboard. At that moment, my throat tightened. For the first time in years, I was being recognized for myself. Not as someone's wife. Not as someone's daughter-in-law. I placed a hand over my chest and whispered, Thank you, truly. Thank you. The manager patted my shoulder. You're still young. If it's time to leave the swamp, then leave. I nodded, my eyes welling up slightly. As I walked out of the conference room, the hallway shone blindingly bright, as if telling me, you've finally stepped out of the darkness. By the time I reached the street outside the company, the sky had begun to darken. The evening breeze brushed my face, comforting, almost like a reward. Just as I was about to cross the street, a familiar voice exploded behind me. Ava. I froze. That voice, I knew it too well. Once, I had thought it would be part of my life forever, but now it sounded heavy and foreign. I slowly turned around. Michael stood at the company entrance, gasping, like he had run all the way there. His hair was messy, his shirt wrinkled, and his eyes filled with panic and uncertainty. The moment he saw me, his emotions ripped open. Ava, why didn't you answer my calls? Where did you go? Why did you leave home all of a sudden? You made me so worried. His voice trembled uncontrollably, but all those past weaknesses that used to soften my heart now seemed hollow. I didn't say a word, just looked at him coldly. Michael stepped closer. Please, don't do this. Come home. I'll apologize. I can change anything. I raised an eyebrow. Change? He opened his mouth. I looked at him, but I felt nothing. And suddenly, I realized the person who once hurt me to the brink of breaking now had no power over me at all. My tone was calm, even gentle. Michael, do you really think that just saying I'll change will make me come back? Michael froze. Then, what do you want me to do? I smiled faintly, the smile as thin as paper. What I want is never something you could give. His face turned pale instantly. I continued. I used to think we were living together. But the truth, you never saw me as your partner. You wanted someone who would revolve around you forever. Michael panicked. No! I just didn't realize, Michael. I interrupted. I got the job today. He blinked. You got the job? I nodded. Yes, a job that's mine. I'm moving toward the life I want. His eyes reddened, his pride starting to crumble. Ava, don't, you can't really leave me. I'll be lost. I took a deep breath, my voice like a final verdict. I'm not leaving you. Michael, I'm finally leaving that version of myself. His lips trembled. You really won't come back? I looked at him, for the first time without pain, without hatred, only complete closure. Our story, I said, ends here. Then I turned and walked away. Michael reached out, trying to grab me, but caught only air. I heard him take a few steps behind me and stop, like he wanted to shout, but couldn't even form a full "don't go." He finally realized I really wasn't looking back. Back at the hotel, night had fully fallen. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the city lights, and suddenly understood those lights belonged to no one. They only belonged to those willing to look up. I sat at the desk and opened my laptop, writing tomorrow's plan, onboarding tasks for the new job, apartment checklist, self-study courses. Each item clear and practical, like tiny lights illuminating my path ahead. As I wrote, I suddenly remembered Michael's expression earlier that day. The collapse, the panic, the helplessness. I closed my eyes and exhaled softly. That wasn't softness of heart. That was release. Ava's phone vibrated. It was a message from Michael's mom. Michael came home and smashed everything in the house, saying you've changed. I can't calm him down. Right after that, Chloe sent another one. Are you really not coming back? Michael's been crying nonstop. I looked at the two messages, my emotions as calm as a blank sheet of paper. I replied, to Michael's mom, I won't return to that home again. Please take good care of yourself. To Chloe, whatever happens between you all, I won't be involved anymore. I hope you find a life that truly belongs to you. As for Michael, he had sent nearly 10 messages. I'm sorry. Give me one more chance. Let's start over. I selected all of them, clicked delete. Then I put him on the block list. At that moment, it felt as if the entire room brightened. I didn't feel hate, nor resentment. I didn't even feel the need to judge who was right or wrong, because I finally understood the only person I am responsible for is myself. I gently turned off the light. Outside, the ocean of city lights was still dazzling, but this time, I knew that somewhere in that brightness, there was a light that belonged to me, a light belonging to a woman who learned to walk again, who reclaimed her dignity, who began to breathe anew. a light belonging to my own rebirth. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.